I'd like to call the meeting, general membership meeting, to order. We need to establish a quorum. It certainly would appear to me, by viewing the audience and who we have up front here, that we have a quorum established. And are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, we'll declare a quorum. I want to mention a word about our officer and XCOM nominations. I have a planned policy we'll be putting in place. It's not yet a written policy. I just wanted to make you aware of it because I will be seeking 5 members from the directors here to serve on my nominations committee when shortly, in a few minutes, I'll be turning to past president, and one of my major tasks will be to bring a nomination slate to this group for your approval. So I'd like to get 5 members, which, it'll be 4 members plus myself, so we'll have 5. I'd like to get it as geographically round as possible, so if I could get one from each of the 3 kind of regional councils, Great Lakes, Area 3, 4, and Western Directors, I'd appreciate it. Just gives it some thought during the day today, if you would, and as you come up with someone, please let me know and I'll write that down. Our goals is to, we will have the nominations, we'll be accepting nominations up to within 30 days of the fall meeting. I'll bring a slate of candidates to that meeting for your review and approval, and then we'll vote on them within 30 days after that meeting. It's an effort to get that out sooner, and we're also going to video tape interviews with the candidates so that we realize we have a lot of new members that don't necessarily know these folks, and they'll have an opportunity to see them and go through some interview questions with them. And let's see. And that also will give enough time for the elections would likely be at that case in November, so that by the end of the year we'll know who the new person or persons are. They'll have time to make maybe attend the XCOM transition or the transition meeting, the officers transition meeting, and have a better chance to plan their arrival for this meeting here. Also today we need to select 2 new members for the executive committee from the directors. Our esteemed senior colleagues on the current XCOM, Mike Maxwell and David Holland, will be moving off the XCOM and need to be replaced by 2 more. So if you would be considering who those would be during this day today, by the end of the day we'd be able to make a vote on that selection. So just wanted to give you an idea of what was coming up here. I would like to move into awards. This is, as other past presidents in the room would know, that this is one of the favorite times of the year for the president, is to present awards, the President's Citation, to our members that have gone above and beyond the call of duty for several years in our efforts. Today I have some folks that aren't necessarily here present at this time, and I won't be able to be at this meeting, but I'd still like to make their recognition. We have 4 members of the Certified Survey Technician Board that I'm awarding the Presidential Citation to. I'd like to have their names read here at this group, and we'll make a presentation later on. I believe Don Falcon might be here, but the others will have to do. Oh, he's here. So I'll get to you in just a moment then. First of all is Bob Moynihan, in recognition of his key leadership role and long-running service in the development, expansion, and continued success of the NSPS Certified Survey Technician Program. Please recognize Bob Moynihan. another member of the original three, I believe, that started the CST program back in 1986, I believe it was, Ron Torrance. In recognition of his key leadership role and long-running service in the development, expansion, and continued success of the NSPS Certified Survey Technician Program. Please recognize Ron Torrance. And another, I think, of the near original three, I'm not positive, but real close to that, is Art Haas. In recognition of his key leadership role and long-running service as the chair of the NSPS Certified Survey Technician Board during the development and expansion and continued success of the program. Please recognize Art Haas. And a member that we do have in attendance, I believe. In recognition of his key leadership role and long-running service in development, expansion, and continued success of the NSPS Certified Survey Technician Program, please welcome Don Balkin. In recognition of his long-term outstanding service and contributions to the surveying profession, as chair of the Joint Committee for the Review and Periodic Updating of the ALTA NSPS Minimum Standard Detail Requirements for Land Title Surveys. Please welcome Gary Kent. In recognition of long-term outstanding service and contributions to the surveying profession, and in particular the preparation, dissemination of the public relations and promotional materials to be used by NSPS, its members, and its state affiliate organizations in promotion of the profession of the surveying public. Please welcome Lisa Van Horn. In recognition of his steadfast leadership and exemplary service during the years in which he coordinated the NSPS student competition, please welcome Richard Venozzi. Now we have certificates of appreciation. I would hope that the director is here to receive this. Certificate of Appreciation presented to the Western Virginia Society of Professional Surveyors in recognition of the support demonstrated by your members and leadership in agreeing to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the National Society of Professional Surveyors to establish the 100% joint national membership program that will unify the surveying profession into a more effective advocate for the interest of surveyors and the public they serve. Would the Director of West Virginia please come out to receive this? This is to the professional land surveyors of Colorado in recognition of support and demonstrated by your membership and leadership in agreeing to enter into the Memorandum of Understanding with the National Society of Professional Surveyors to establish the 100% joint national membership program that will unify the surveying profession into a more effective advocate for the interests of surveyors and the public they serve. Please, Director from Colorado, JB. These are years of service recognition and grateful appreciation for 10 years of support and service presented to Roland Driest. Roland, come on up. And last but not least, a grateful appreciation for 5 years of support and service presented to Lisa Van Horn. Okay, that concludes our awards, although I can think of several people that are certainly deserving of the Presidential Citation Award, because you all do a lot of outstanding work out there that you've been doing for several years and maybe not have been recognized in that way yet, but I'm sure there's a time coming soon where you probably will receive that recognition. I know I've had some folks that have done an outstanding job this year, but I don't have 25 to hand out. So to them, I would say thank you very much for all of your service for that as well. Outgoing President's remarks. I guess that would be me. As I look back at the year and try to reflect on the accomplishments of our association, our profession over this past year, sometimes you have goals of accomplishing more than you do, and sometimes keeping the ship afloat and heading downstream in the right direction is considered a moral victory. And I consider that we've, I believe, been able to lay some good groundwork in our organization. And I've heard from the states in all my travels, almost countless. I can think of how many states that I've been to. They've all been great, very well received, and it's really exciting and energizing to visit all of your states to see that the activity level of the states is strong as ever, and the 100% membership seems to be very well embraced. I noticed, and what I heard from the states out there is to promote the profession, bring in new members to the profession, and watch out for UAVs. And I think we've taken steps in those directions. Yesterday, there's a motion coming forward today about the Geospatial Workforce Development Task Force that Kurt's going to spearhead. I think we're taking steps in the right direction in that. The young surveyors during this past year, actually I remember, I think, Amanda talking to me back in, 2012 when you first went to Portugal. Is that what it was? 2013. And I thought, wow, that's a good program. We should do that at NSPS. So we brought that to NSPS, and you immediately embraced it. And in 3 short years, she's grown this to how many states now have young surveyors? 39. Huh? And that's no small effort to Amanda. She has been the Energizer Bunny to get that going, that kind of speed, but also to every one of you folks who have gone back to your states to promote that program and get somebody. I think you all realize that the future of our profession lays in their hands. We're here holding the boat, but they're going to be the ones steering the ship in the future. So it's great to have them aboard, and I'm excited about taking those steps towards bringing new people into this group, not just into our profession. I think we also made some good strides in the legislative arena. I think there was the FLAIR Act and the Geospatial Data Act that we actually made some headway on. And the CST program. I think this year was when we first established, or maybe it was last year, that we now have the 3 branches of the military involved with the CST program. And that, I think, is going to really contribute to the future of CST. But also, I've been promoting it throughout the West because we need to grow that program out West. So Western Directors Council, please keep that on top on your list as something to promote for us. I think that's important for our program. And we added a state this year, West Virginia. That was great to see. We're proud of them. I think TrigStar has taken us a step in the right direction. They are modernizing the program is the right term, but I think they're updating the program I saw a lot of enthusiasm out in the States for the TrigStar program, so and what I did here is they wanted to kind of update that, so I think that group is looking at that. And they're, I think, going to have an announcement when they come up here later today, so I won't talk too much about that. I got to attend a COGO meeting at Esri. We're staying active within the GIS and photogrammetry world out there. We stay in touch with that group, I think is important as well. And Capitol Hill Day. You know, last year was a real big deal. We've never had that many folks there because we were combined with MAPS, and I think that worked really great. This year we may have been down a few in the numbers, but I think we covered nearly as many states, and everyone I heard from when they came back seemed very excited about their trips, that they felt like they made a connection, like they made some progress. They recognized that you were there last year. And I talked to some folks that had gone there for their first time, and they were very excited about it because they saw that they really felt like they made some genuine progress. And that's great to see because I think that will begin to build. Once again, I can't encourage you enough to bring your state presidents or president-elects and anyone else you can bring from your state to this lobby day, not just yourself, because there's strength in numbers, and the more people you can get there, the better. I will conclude. This has been a most exciting, educational, enlightening, rewarding, and challenging year of my career. No doubt about it. In all ways. And of course, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to have served you in the profession, and I hope we, our group up here, have served you well and served the profession well during this past year. However, most all the credit, you may not know, but I certainly know, and you will know if you're ever up here, goes to our staff. Kurt Sumner, our executive director, Trish Milburn, our office manager, Robert Jupin, our treasurer, and our newest full-time employee, Sarah. Sarah. I can't remember her last. Maggie, pardon me. And to my fellow officers up here, I could not have done it without them at all. As you know, you can't do it all, so you try to ask the other folks to help you and delegate out as best as you can. So my appreciation goes to Tony Cavell, to Jan Folkens, to Bob Miller, and Tim Birch, who worked tirelessly all year long to serve you and the profession. So I thank you for this honor and turn it over to Tony. Thank you.
Greetings. If perhaps you saw me wandering aimlessly about the room a few moments ago, it's because I was in a dead panic. I couldn't find Kim Levitt. And I was like, can we install officers in absentia? I'm not sure how we're going to do this. But he was sitting right there all the time. But it's always my pleasure to install our officers for the coming year. As you well know, leadership is a tough job at any level. I was talking to somebody this morning, as a matter of fact, about the composition of this group. And I said, I'm pretty sure that most of the people sitting in your seats have been presidents of their societies, or at least high leaders in their societies. And that speaks well, I think, for this group in general. So I would like to proceed with our installation of officers, and I would ask that the officers come up front. Kim Levitt is going to be our new vice president. If you'll come up and stand, Kim. Jan Fokins is our new president-elect. I didn't forget you this year. Tony Cavell is our incoming president, and John Warren will be our past president. As I think you are aware, our secretary-treasurer positions are multi-year, or at least 2 years, so they don't need installation again because they were installed for that term last year. Gentlemen, you stand on the threshold of a new day for this organization. You've been elected by your fellow members to help guide the organization during these interesting and exciting times. Your selection is a vote of confidence in your ability and dedication, and is also an expression of thanks for your willingness to commit time and energy for the betterment of the profession and NSPS. Leadership is not an easy task. You're charged with providing vision, voice, stewardship, growth, excitement, and stability. Often the demands placed on you will take you away from your personal interest. But in those times, remember that your grateful colleagues are here. If you're prepared to accept the duties for the office to which you've been elected, please say aye. Aye. Do you solemnly promise that you will administer the office to which you've been elected to the best of your ability and judgment? That your decisions and actions will be governed by the principles of honesty and justice? That you will act in conformity with the NSPS bylaws? And that you will safeguard the best interest of all members and the public we serve as professionals? Again, would you say I will? Would the members please stand? As I pointed out earlier, pretty much everybody in this room has been in some level of membership, leadership in their membership. And you know how difficult it is to perform that job. And it's virtually impossible to perform without the support of fellow leaders and membership in general. So I would ask you, as members of NSPS, to pledge your support and your help and your understanding for these who've been elected to these offices of leadership. If so, please say I will. You may be seated. Congratulations to our new officers. Congratulations to NSPS for having such strong leadership. And we will look forward to even better years to come as we congregate together on behalf of our beloved profession. Thank you very much.
It would be remiss if I didn't put the most important activities first. And as demonstrated by your applause earlier, it's incumbent upon us to recognize the yeoman's work that our immediate past president has done for us this year. He's charged each of us with some task, and in some cases those tasks seem, insurmountable, but let's give it a shot anyway. Without his, no, it wasn't nagging. I think you call it leadership. The success that we've felt for the last year would not have occurred. John, would you please stand? Be recognized by your peers for the wonderful work that you've done in the last year, and accept this token in remembrance that, of our recognition and your good work.
Thank you.
We'll take a photo op later. That was the first. The second order of business for this speech, at least, is to recognize someone who's not here. And for the quick calculation, 20-odd years in which I have been trying to be a leader, a participant, an active person in my state organization or in NSPS and ACSM. Without the support of my wife, Kay, it would not have been possible. She's not able to travel with us today, but 10 minutes before I walked in, she told me good luck once again. That's important. Thank you for entrusting me to steer the ship for a time. Track and field is a popular sport in most high schools. Despite it being called a team competition, competition is little more than a collection of individuals competing against other individuals from other clubs. There is one exception. That exception is the relay race. 4 individuals must work together to deliver a precious baton along a prescribed distance in the shortest time, within the constraints prescribed. The baton is like a precious gem. If it's mishandled in any way, the team fails. The baton must be carried at all times, never dropped. The handoffs must take place within a prescribed area. Runners must stay in their assigned lanes. And as a result, the race does not always go to the swiftest. The race goes to the team that is careful with its cargo and swift. The baton is passed. Let's jump into our Wayback Machine to the dawn of technology, to the axe maker's gift, which is technology. Our ancestors were living hand to mouth, trying to eat enough to live and avoid predators long enough to reproduce. When about 2 million years ago, some genius realized how sharp chipped stones could be and how useful cutting with those edges. Imagine him showing, teaching, mentoring, demonstrating to an apprentice how to make that tool with nothing more than gestures and grunts. The baton was passed as even more sophisticated tools were developed. It was passed 600,000 years ago when the discovery of fire allowed softer foods, smaller teeth, more room for a brain, enabling speech, another technology, conferring power in turn to those who could use these tools to do new things. Well, about 13,000 years ago, record keeping began. We discovered calendars scribed on bones. Writing in agriculture developed soon thereafter. Agriculture created surplus production, enabling classes of people whose business was not food production. Coinage was invented with social hierarchy in governments, their bureaucrats, and their armies. Modern civilization had begun, and with civilization came legitimacy. Legitimacy required the surveyor. Because how can you have the government without someone to say who belongs to whom? The baton was passed from generation to generation. Some developed astronomy, geometry, algebra, the laws of physics, chemistry, and electronics. Surveying has absorbed every technology to come along. Nothing that improves one's ability to discover truth relating to things and positions on or near the Earth's surface is off limits to the surveyor. Think about it. In the United States, we started the great experiment whereby commoners were able to claim title to land and fee. Each state was sovereign in its borders. Surveyors in the states banded together to each form associations. The baton was passed in mid-20th century when the formation of a national society was conceived. It evolved into the present-day National Society of Professional Surveyors, you and I. Today, I am speaking to you in part because the NSPS leadership baton has been passed to me. I know the task in front of me is not for one man alone. I'm passing the baton to each and every one of you in turn. We must carry it together. In fact, imagine how strong we are together and how weak we are individually. One of the accomplishments that we've accomplished under President Warren's leadership, of which I take particular pride, is repopulating our committee chairmanships and in reinvigorating, because that is where the thinking process of our organization takes place. Imagine again how much we can accomplish together. Our most dangerous obstacle is within us. It's not someone or someone else on the outside. We must not doubt our dignity. We're a very exclusive club, usually no more than a few hundred in each state, compared to every other profession requiring tens of thousands or more. We must not doubt our duty to serve. We must not forget what it means to be professional. Garth Stein wrote, "That which we manifest is before us. We are the creators of our own destiny. And are you actively creating yours?" Will you drop the baton? I don't think so. As a surveyor, you belong at the top. You in your turn will run the good race, pass the baton forward in your turn. Our challenge is to provide our service so excellently well that all who observe them will acknowledge the benefit of our services. Going forward, we must acknowledge that our efforts are not to defeat an opponent. Our efforts are to overcome the enemy within us. We must accept the baton. We must hold the baton. We must pass the baton with pride to our protégés, knowing that they are prepared to honor their heritage, the surveying profession. With your help, we will run this leg of the race and pass it on to the next leg in a very good position. Let's begin now. Thank you. I will announce that the 2016 spring meeting of NSPS is adjourned.